The Nevada Supreme Court has sided with former Raiders coach Jon Gruden in his lawsuit alleging the NFL leaked damaging emails containing racist, sexist, and anti-gay comments before Gruden was re-signed from the team in 2021. Justices didn't determine whether the league leaked the emails to the media, however, did find that the NFL's decision to force Gruden's complaint into arbitration proceedings that were overseen by the target of Gruden's lawsuit, Commissioner Roger Goodell, unconscionable. So, Stephen A., your takeaway from this ruling?
I think Jon Gruden has a case. I don't know all the specifics, but I think he has a case. Let's be very, very clear. To remind everybody, he was found as a culprit in terms of disseminating an email or sending an email to Bruce Allen, the former president for the Washington football team. The emails contained racist, homophobic, and misogynistic language, to say the least. He spoke out in an insulting fashion against Roger Goodell. He spoke out he wrote that Goodell should not have urged the Rams to draft quote-unquote queers in reference to Michael Sam, the first openly gay player drafted in NFL history, amongst other things, to say the least. Nobody here is defending what was in those emails. But what he's saying is that it was leaked. And there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that could have been leaked, but somehow, some way, his stuff was leaked. And what I hearken back to is what a dear friend of mine, somebody I admire a lot, was very religious, said to me the other day. And I kept this text because he said every day that he wakes up, he says, my daily prayer every day is, Lord, allow me the ears to hear, eyes to see, and a heart of understanding that is pleasing to you. The heart of understanding is so I can avoid judgment of anyone. I think about that when I think about Jon Gruden and others, because I'm one of those guys, Molly, Kimberly, Swagu. If you ain't in jail and you are in a position to contribute to society, everybody requires a second chance. Jon Gruden's career has been eviscerated. One of the things that I was uncomfortable with is that we've had him on this show. He's worked for this network. There is no one who will deny he did an outstanding job covering football for us before he went back to being a coach for the Raiders. He's a champion, even though some would say that was Tony Dungy's team in Tampa and all of that. Won a championship there. It's one of those situations where I'm looking at him and I'm saying to myself, is all of this really, really worth it to keep him out of football forever? Never to be involved in football again, whether it's on the NFL level, collegiate level, whatever. The man is a born football coach, a born football mind. And so, again, recognizing how egregious those emails were, not apologizing for it by any stretch of the imagination, he should be made to speak on that publicly and what have you, but he should have the opportunity to make amends. And if he can't make amends, are we saying that that applies to everybody, that nobody is allowed to make amends? He has a case because he's the one that ended up paying the price for this when there's a whole bunch of people involved in the National Football League that was sharing those kind of sentiments. He got caught, and that's on him. But at some point in time, I do think that you ask the question, that you got to ask the question, does he deserve to have his career completely ended? My answer might differ from other people's. I respect where everybody else is coming from. But to me, until that question is answered, he has a case because he's pushing this forward because essentially that's what he's asking.
Really?
Emotionally torn on it because it feels like he's getting off on a technicality, because the league leaked his emails and he wasn't the only person that could have been done to. It's technically wrong. On the other hand, he's not the only misogynist, not the only racist. not the only homophobic person in the NFL. So I'm torn because I don't, emotionally, you kind of have to take yourself out of it and say, does he deserve a second chance? Sure, because you want to keep the deck even for everybody, right? But it's just hard for me to wrap my head around all of this, given the nature of the emails.
Yeah.
Marcus?
Well, it's not even, because you got caught. Getting caught matters. Like what's the tolerance, right? That's what we're talking about. What's the tolerance of either the NFL or whatever institution decides to hire Jon Gruden, right? There are people that do bad things throughout the day, throughout the world, every day, every corner of earth. The ones that get caught got to pay a price for it. So I understand about, I'm a second chance guy as well. But you have to find the tolerance for that second chance. Because if on one hand we gonna say, should it cost Jon Gruden an opportunity to work back in the NFL? Yeah, it should. Because Colin Kaepernick got cost an opportunity too for doing something totally different. But they had no tolerance for it. That's what it boils down to. And I'm not comparing the two situations as far as what they are. They are two different scales. But there was a level of tolerance that the NFL was going to have in those situations in order for these guys to get their jobs back. Listen, this league has been phenomenal in changing lives. It's phenomenal. I'm a part of it. I benefit from it. We do TV. We talk about it. We in stadiums. It would be an awful look if Jon Gruden became a coach again in the NFL. And this is not me saying he doesn't deserve a second chance, but this organization shouldn't have any tolerance for it, or they've lied to us about everything that they stand for. So that's the decision that they have to make, Stephen A. To your point, the case, your information being leaked, that's what he's going to court for. But
he's not denying it. He can't deny it.
We have a topic.
And by the way,
but that's the point, right? That's the point. I just don't want people to get it misconstrued about what you're saying and what I'm saying. There's a tolerance for certain organizations that will accept and take Jon Gruden back, and he goes out to have success. I don't think it should be the NFL, though.
Got you. Let's remind everybody of some of the things that he said. He used a racist stereotype to describe former NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith, writing that Smith had the lips the size of Michelin tires. He insulted political figures, calling former Vice President, now President Joe Biden, a nervous, clueless P-word. He mocked Caitlyn Jenner, disparaging her receiving an ESPN award after her gender transition, amongst other things. So again, there's a lot of stuff that was in that email. Nobody is excusing it. I can tell you that much. I'm just saying that when he makes the case that emails were leaked by the National Football League, he's like, well, wait a minute.